All right, let's get right into it. What we're looking at today, it's not just some boring legal filing. We're going to be dissecting a precision strike. Think of it less like a court paper and more like a guided missile, crafted by one person and aimed right at the heart of a state agency. This is the anatomy of what you might call a legal knockout punch.
And that quote right there, wow, it just says it all, doesn't it? This thing wasn't cooked up in some high-powered, expensive law firm. It was written by a pro se litigant. That's someone representing himself. And get this, he wrote it while navigating some unbelievable personal challenges, including 527 documented days of homelessness. Homelessness caused by the exact same system he was taking on. So yeah, this document was forged in fire. And its language is not a plea, it's a demand. So the whole strategy here, the thing that makes this motion so incredibly effective, is that it all hinges on exposing one single devastating failure at the very foundation of the case. It's built like a mystery, and it basically invites the court, and, well, us, to solve a puzzle that the state itself seems completely unable to answer. And there it is. That's the question that just electrifies the entire document. I want you to think about this. For 10 years, a man's wages were garnished, his driver's license was suspended, his entire life was turned upside down, all in the name of a child support order. This motion makes the absolutely audacious claim that the order, well, that it never actually existed. Okay, so this is where it gets just messy. And the motion uses the court's own records to show how chaotic it is. Look at this. On June 9th, 2015, you've got a minute order mentioning a support amount. Seems clear, right? But then, the very next day, another minute order pops up saying, whoops, we're unable to enter support orders. Then you fast forward 7 years, and this so-called child support order magically appears in the record. Only the filing ID, the authorizer, the filing party, it's all listed as NA. So which one is it? I mean, they can't all be valid. And that's the genius of it, you see. The litigant isn't just making claims. He is literally weaponizing the state's own paper trail against them. The entire motion is built on a foundation of contradictions, of admissions, of procedural screw-ups, all pulled directly from their files. He's using their own words to prove they had no legal ground to stand on from day one. And this, right here, this is the smoking gun. This is the court, in black and white, admitting it could not legally do the thing it was supposed to do. The motion argues that this isn't just one of 4 confusing entries. It's the last, and therefore the controlling thing the judge said on the matter. It is, for all intents and purposes, a judicial admission of failure. The motion then zooms out to show what it calls jurisdictional chaos. Check out this email. Here you have a Colorado official stating, plain as day, that another state, South Dakota, is calling all the shots. She says, I'm only here to collect money. She's completely passing the buck. But then, and you can't make this stuff up, you get this email. It's from a supervisor in the exact same office, and she directly contradicts her own employee, even apologizing for the misinformation. She claims Colorado is in charge after all. The motion presents this as stone-cold proof that the agencies themselves had no idea who was running the show, yet both were taking enforcement actions. Let's just step back and look at the timeline here, because this wasn't some quick mix-up. The initial mess in 2015 was left to fester for years. Enforcement started in 2017 without a clear order to back it up. Then that bizarre NA order gets added retroactively in 2022. It all culminates a decade later with this motion, which is basically a bill for 10 years of complete dysfunction. And as if the whole missing order thing wasn't enough, the motion finds even more fundamental errors. It's like they used the wrong tool for the job. You see, the state used worksheet A, which is for when one parent has sole custody. But the parenting plan clearly set up shared custody, which legally required worksheet B. You might think, so what, a clerical error? Wrong. This single mistake, according to the motion's math, led to an overcharge of between $50,000 and $70,000. And the list just goes on and on. It's a cascade of failures. The motion documents that they ignored a mandatory state rule about an adoption subsidy which inflated the debt. They illegally collected over $9,000 while a child was in state care. That's a violation of federal law. They even kept collecting money for years after the other parent had formally waived all the back support. This isn't just a list of mistakes, it's a documented pattern of systemic failure. So this is where it really gets serious. Because these weren't just abstract legal violations on a piece of paper. The motion is so powerful because it connects every single one of these procedural failures to a tangible, devastating real-world cost for a human being. 527. That's not just a number. That is the number of days this man was documented as being homeless. The motion argues that the state's actions, specifically suspending his driver's license without ever holding a hearing on his ability to pay, directly led to this. It wasn't an unfortunate outcome, it was a direct result.
And then there's the financial cost. $173,000.42. This isn't some random number they pulled out of thin air. The motion includes a full forensic audit, quantifying every single dollar it claims was unlawfully taken. It is a precise bill for a decade of unlawful seizures. And that claim about homelessness, it's not just an emotional appeal. It is grounded in constitutional law. The motion cites a major Supreme Court case, Turner v. Rogers, to argue that taking away a person's driver's license without first checking if they can even afford to pay isn't just unfair, it is a direct violation of their federal civil rights under the 14th Amendment. So now we get to the end, and this is where the motion truly becomes a precision strike. After laying out a decade of evidence, it doesn't plead for mercy or ask for fairness. No, it completely flips the power dynamic and lays out a series of clear, non-negotiable demands. Just look at the language here. Vacate, produce, order, compel, grant. Each one is a direct command to the court, but the most powerful one, the absolute killer, is number 2. Produce the order. It is the ultimate ultimatum. It's a dare. If the state cannot produce the one document that justifies its decade of enforcement, the entire case collapses.
And that, right there, is the checkmate. This motion is designed to be so devastatingly effective because it uses the system's own documents, its own emails, to preemptively destroy every possible defense. It forces the court into a corner. Either it grants the relief demanded, or its denial will create a perfect, unassailable record for an appeal that could expose the entire system's failure. In the end, the fate of a decade of enforcement, hundreds of thousands of dollars, and the credibility of multiple state agencies all comes back to that one simple question: where is the order?